Okay, we have a paired passage. Let's read the question prompt. Text 2. How would they regard the perspective of bluegrass purists described in text 1? So let's figure out what the perspective of bluegrass purists is. For decades, bluegrass musicians have debated whether their genre should exclude influences from mainstream genres, such as rock. Many insist that bluegrass is defined by its adherence to the folk music of the U.S. South, out of which bluegrass emerged. Such purists, so purist means they don't want to mix their music. It's Southern U.S. music, bluegrass, are, as they're known, regard the recordings of Bill Monroe, which established the bluegrass sound in the 40s, as a standard against which the genre must be measured or should be measured. Okay, so I get the idea of the purists. Let's see what text 2 says. My guess is they want to mix the music. Bluegrass isn't simply an extension of folk traditions into the era of recorded music. In reality, Bill Monroe created the bluegrass sound in the 1940s, so they agree on that, by combining Southern folk music with commercial genres that had arisen only a few decades before. So actually, they're saying bluegrass already combined other genres of music, such as jazz and blues. That's very different than text 1. Since bluegrass has always been a mixed genre, contemporary bluegrass musicians... Okay, so the text 2, I don't even need to finish. They're going to say that bluegrass has always been a mixed genre of music. So the idea that you're a purist is kind of silly in a sense. That's my prediction. So A, as inconsistent. So yeah, text 2 would say that text 1 is inconsistent since bluegrass purists themselves enjoy other... No, not because they enjoy other music. That's not it, okay? As unrealistic. Well, that could be too, since bluegrass purists have no way of enforcing their musical preferences. Well, no, that's not it. Nothing about how they enforce their musical preferences. A and B are not correct. As short-sighted, because the bluegrass could enlarge its audience by including themes from... Okay, again, it's not about popularity. That's not the idea here. As illogical, that they would definitely say, because the purists overlook crucial aspects of how the bluegrass sound first originated. Yeah, notice they don't go into detail on that. These crucial aspects are the fact that they've always included jazz and blues and other genres in bluegrass music. D is the answer. Let's read this paired passage prompt. Which choice best describes a difference in how the author... So a difference, kind of like authors agree, we have a difference in how the author of text 1 and the author of text 2 view the evidence for the formation of the moon. So what do they disagree on in terms of formation of the moon and the evidence? Text 1, most scientists agree that the moon was likely formed after collision between Earth and a large planet named Theia. This collision likely created a huge debris field made up of material from both Earth and Theia. Based on models of this event, scientists believe the moon was formed from this debris over the course of thousands of years. Okay, so Earth and moon crashed, right? They crashed into each other, and that's how the moon was created. It was before this other planet, Theia, but they crashed, okay? Text 2. Researchers from NASA's Ames research used a computer to model how the moon could have formed. Although simulations of the moon's formation have been done in the past, the team from NASA ran simulations that were much more detailed. They found that the formation of the moon was likely not a slow process that took many years. Okay, up here, they said it formed over thousands of years. So this says it didn't take very long. Instead, it's probable that the moon's formation happened immediately after impact, taking just a few hours. Wow, just a few hours as opposed to thousands of years. That's the huge difference we need to identify or point out. So let's find that answer among the choices. A, the author of text 1 argues that the formation of the moon occurred much earlier than the... Oh no, not about earlier or later. That's not the idea. Well, let's be careful. Earlier could be after the collision. They both agree there was some sort of a collision. But again, if it was earlier, it would be text 2 that says earlier, so that's not right. B, the author of text 1 suggests there is more evidence confirming the existence of Theia than the author of text 2 suggests. No, nobody's questioning Theia, the planet that was there before the moon. C, the author of text 1 claims that the moon's surface is more similar to Earth's surface. No, there's no discussion of the surface. That's simply not in the passage at all. No evidence either way. D, the author of text 1 believes the moon forms more slowly than the author of text 2. Yeah, this guy says thousands of years, right? And this guy says mere hours. D is the correct answer. Let's read the prompt for this paired passage. How, describes a difference. Again, another difference in the two texts, kind of like the opposite of authors agree, in how the author of text 1, the author of text 2 view the study of Soyinka's works of drama. So how do they view the study of Soyinka's works of drama? Okay, let's focus on that as we read. Text 1, literary scholars have struggled with the vastness of Nigerian writer Soyinka's collective works of drama spanning over 20 plays in total. It is best, however, to understand Soyinka's body of work as a dramatist chronologically. So this is how this person views the work chronologically over time. Soyinka's progression as a playwright can be considered to fall into 3 periods, each one representing a particular thematic and stylistic cohesion: the 60s, the 2 decades between the 70s and 90s, and lastly, roughly 90s onward. Okay, so that's the idea or approach from text 1. Text 2 probably does something different. Let's take a look. It is tempting to impose a linear sense of order. So a linear sense of order would be chronological, right? Time is linear, basically. So when they say linear, they are directly commenting on text 1. So they're saying it's tempting to say what text 1 says when looking at Soyinka's body of work as a dramatist. However, here's the contrasting transition and idea. Critics who have considered Soyinka's plays to fit neatly into 3 phases overlook potential commonalities in Soyinka's work that span across the 3 phases. Additionally, this view may discount significant differences in the styles and content of plays written around the same time. So this person says you can't view it chronologically. There's more to it than that. There's commonalities across the work, and there's significant differences in style and content. Okay, so one says linear, one says it's more than linear. Let's see what answer matches that predicted answer. A, while the author text 1 believes that thinking about Soyinka's work of theater in phases is useful, the author text 2 views such an approach as limiting. Maybe. Did they actually say it's limiting in text 2? They overlook these things, so perhaps that's limiting. That looks like it could be good. Let's just check the other answers. We might find something better. Although the author of text 1 claims that Soyinka's style as a dramatist has evolved over time, well, no, we didn't really say that it evolved, right? Text 1 talks about categorizing it into 3 periods, right? Each one representing a particular thematic and stylistic cohesion, but it didn't say what those are. So text 1's style as a dramatist has evolved over time. The author of text 2 argues that Soyinka's style has remained consistent throughout his career. No, this part is definitely wrong, consistent throughout his career, okay? Even though the first part actually might be correct to text 1, this part is not right. There is some commonality, so there is some consistency, but this is really too strong. It says it's changed and it says it's consistent. I'm not sure it quite made that point that firmly in the text. Let's keep going. C, the author text 1 considers Soyinka's plays to showcase his strongest writing, whereas the author text 2 believes no, it's not about strongest writing versus poetry. That is definitely wrong. Even though there's some question of B, right? I might actually hold some questions out for B. C is definitely wrong. D, the author text 1 argues that Soyinka's early plays were his most politically charged. Nope, not about the politics, the politicizing of the plays. Definitely wrong. So we're down to A or B. So let's be careful here. I don't want to cross out B because it had some positive points to it as well. Let's look at them separately and independently. While the author text 1 believes that thinking about Soyinka's works of theater in phases is useful. So its collective works drama spanning over 20 plays in total is best, however, to understand a body of work chronologically. Yeah, okay, so it's useful. It's best to understand it chronologically. That is definitely a true statement. The author of text 2 views such an approach as limiting. It is tempting to impose this linear sense. However, critics have considered plays that spin across these phases overlook potential commonalities. That is limiting. That's true. I think you could say that. Let's check B. Although the author of text 1 claims that Soyinka's style as a dramatist has evolved over time. Now, it's not really about evolving over time. That's not the focus. It's about viewing her work in chronological periods. So the author himself is not claiming that Soyinka's style changed over periods. He's saying people view her style changing over time. So this is not quite right, B. The author of text 2 argues that Soyinka's style has remained consistent. And again, text 2 says they're commonalities, but that's not the same thing exactly as staying consistent. And then throughout his career, it doesn't say that. It just says they overlook potential commonalities. This is too extreme. So as I look between A and B, I'm going to eliminate B. A is the correct answer.